over 800 new Fords in stock. The amazing 19 Ford F-150 XLT is yours at 0% for 72 months, or take $14,000 off MSRP. That's $87.50 in factory savings and $52.50 in Woody Folsom savings when you finance with Ford Motor Credit.
You'll be amazed. Over 800 new Fords on the ground in Bexley. You'll also be amazed at the Woody Folsom Ford price.
Ford Super Duty's on sale too. Select diesel models. Farm Bureau members get up to $3,500 in factory savings. A $4,500 Woody discount for a total of $8,000 in savings. Get 0 for 60-month financing on 19 Edge, Escape, and Explorer. 0 for 72 on Expedition. Ford owns work, and we make it easy to own Ford. Better get to Bexley and Woody Folsom Ford, where the deals are.
Be amazed at the Woody Folsom Ford price.
Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Celebrating 50 years of service to Jessup and Wayne County.
WIFO-FM, Jessup.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Today's the first full House vote on the impeachment process.
Debate on this resolution is going to start shortly after 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning. The vote should come about 10:45 or 11 in the morning. Again, to reiterate, this is not a resolution to impeach. This resolution just codifies the impeachment process. It opens the door to hearings possibly next month.
Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol. More strong winds in the forecast for Southern California as a fire near the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library has thousands of people forced from their homes. Most people forced out by the Getty fire in Los Angeles are allowed back in now. At least 5 homes are destroyed in that fire. In Northern California, the Kincaid fire is reported to be 45% contained.
I would say that there's a lot of optimism that we have turned the corner for the better on this fire.
CAL FIRE spokesman Jonathan Cox. At least 71 people are killed in a fire on a train in Pakistan caused by a gas stove for cooking. America's listening to Fox News.
It's the latest from Fox News Podcasts, The Campaign with Brett Baer, with updates from reporters on the trail and in-studio experts. Brett keeps you informed on the 2020 race. Go to foxnewspodcasts.com and download The Campaign with Brett Baer now.
I'm Maria Bartiromo from Fox Business. My parents lived the American dream. My father cooked in his restaurant. I was the coat check girl. Today, I'm still working the hardest I've ever worked, giving my viewers every tool I can to help them succeed.
I'm Stuart Varney from Fox Business. My first investment, traveling the world for about 5 years and ending up right here in America. Damn good investment, actually. Fox Business.
Invested in you.
The Fox News Rundown is a weekday morning podcast that dives deep into the major and controversial stories of the day. Hosted by the anchors of Fox News Radio. Subscribe now to hear a perspective of news you won't find anywhere else. Listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jessup. That's Nips Car Wash with a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South down from McDonald's in Jessup.
WIFO-FM Big Dog Country at 801 Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Nips Car Wash and Murphy Builder Supply.
Good morning, Jonathan. We got a special guest in the studio. This man who's just got back from Washington, D.C. as he was up there for a special event. The mayor, Scriven Jason Weaver's with us. Mayor, tell us why you were in Washington and what was that all about?
I was fortunate enough to be nominated by Buddy Carter to be on a federal policy committee, which basically makes laws and advocates for cities in Georgia. It's sponsored by GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, and it's an honor because we were able to put some small city representation under the roof of the Capitol, and that's a big deal. It's funny because Senator Perdue, we had a meeting with him for 30 minutes one-on-one yesterday, and he brought to our attention, he acknowledges, we always laugh and joke through sports, but that there's two Georgias, below Macon and above, and it's good to hear that on the Hill, that they realize that and they understand that.
Well, again, how many days were you up there and what all?
I flew up Monday morning, and we had meetings Monday afternoon with the NLC board, which is the National League of Cities. They represent all cities in the United States, and they're kind of our advocate, our boots on the ground at the Hill, to let us know what's going on. So they gave us a briefing Monday evening. Then Tuesday was all day. We had 10 meetings. It was all day Tuesday. And then yesterday morning we met, had 2 meetings, and flew out around 2 o'clock and back home.
How many people on the board besides yourself?
There's a total of about, I think, 10 or 15, but only 3 of us. They only take 3 at the time on this trip because it's more of a, like you say, one-on-one. You get a lot more information, and it means a lot more to these guys when there's 3 of you there and not 20 of you. If there's 20, they got to prepare a program. If there's 3, they can step out. I mean, Drew Ferguson was on the floor working and stepped out of his meeting and met with us for 20 minutes outside the doors. Buddy Carter was in a very, very important meeting and stepped out for 30 minutes and met with us. So it was a great trip. Got a lot accomplished. There's a lot going on in Washington right now.
I imagine. Did you get to any sightseeing? That's just a beautiful place.
The only sightseeing was you see it while you're driving by in a cab, getting from this building to that building, or walking. My wife put this Fitbit thing on my arm, and I think I had a total of about 40 miles in 3 days walking.
There you go.
Which was, hey, great for exercise.
Use a cab or Uber driver?
We used a cab. That's the first city I've been to personally with the cabs kind of were outweighing the Uber drivers. I mean, there were cabs everywhere. Now, the fares are about the same. I used an Uber from airport to hotel, and then I just watched the fare going back to the airport with a cab, and it all washes out to about the same.
And what airport you fly out of? Dallas or
Reagan? We flew into Reagan. I flew out of Savannah to Atlanta to Reagan.
Okay, so you're back home now, getting ready for a day for a lot going on.
Got a lot. Today's Halloween.
People are looking for you over at Mossy Pond yesterday. One day where I told me you were in Washington D.C.
That's right.
That was a good event.
I'm sure it was. Those guys always do a great job over there, and I hate that I wasn't able to attend. But there were some things that we went up to Washington to see about that are near and dear to me and to our city and to our area. So I felt like that was the most important thing for me to attend. I'd like to go over a few of those if you don't mind,
no problem. Just
to give the people in this part of the world that what's going on up there in the world. Just a stat is today, since President Trump has took over, there's 2.5 million people living not in poverty that was when he took over. The economy's booming, in spite of what you see on the news and in spite of what you see going on. And yes, it's a fight up there. It's a fuss and a fight. And right now, nobody gets along. The guys are still committed. Our guys. I met with every single representative from the state of Georgia. Every one of them. We didn't miss any. Except Johnny wasn't there, but we met with his staff because of his health. And they're all committed, and they're all working every day to run this country. They've got to get this budget, this money done by November 21st. And right now, the big elephant is, they're scheduled to take a vote today on impeachment.
it was interesting. Gary Black, the agriculture commissioner, was over there, and we'll hear that interview tomorrow. But the hurricane came through and really hurt the blueberry farmers and all that, and they requested that funding. That funding's been approved, but it's yet to come to the farmers. So he'll explain that tomorrow on the local news. But it's amazing the red tape up there in Washington. It's been approved, supposed to come, but for some reason it's being held up. So he'll explain that tomorrow on the local news. But he's very frustrated, and it's really. I said, well, you got Sonny up there as the head guy up there in agriculture, but he can't get it released either. So it's just amazing how the red tape up in Washington is just
and I'll
crazy.
tell you, Bob, what we were told and saw. So, and it's the truth. These guys had agreements reached on this money in this budget back in July.
That's what
across the aisle.
That's what Gary Black,
and they all came home for the month of August. Last year, Senator Perdue wrote a letter to Mitch McConnell and said, "I think we need to stay in August so we can get this done." This year, they assured him if he wouldn't write that letter, they already had an agreement. So they all come home. When they come back, they pulled the agreement and said, "No, we're just kidding." One of those type of deals. So, like I say, it's very, very crucial and important that we get this done by November 21st. You're talking about funding our defense and our military.
Well, Gary Black says he's going back to Washington, I think, in a couple of weeks, trying to see where that money's at. So he said it's just very frustrating that it was all agreed upon, all approved, but for some reason they can't get the money to the farmers. So they're just shaking their head.
Yeah,
we've been covering the service agreement between the cities and the counties. You're head of one of the cities in Wayne County. It's funny to sit in those meetings. The point that everybody's trying to make is we're all Wayne Countyans. We're all in this together. We need to come to the table and agree. But sitting and watching those meetings, we had Stanley talking yesterday, talking about the it just seems to be a lot of animosity in the room between the city and the county. So you're in Scriven trying to fight for Scriven. So where do you see all this going? Can we get an agreement, or your thoughts on where we stand countywide?
I hope we can. I think we can, yes. But I noticed something in Washington that is identical to Wayne County. It's the same thing. We all just got to get along. And that's the problem up there. I talked to several Democratic representatives yesterday and several Republican representatives, and where my discussion was about an infrastructure bill. A lot of the infrastructure in these cities and these counties are 1960 date. And we've got to have new water lines running, and that stuff ain't cheap. I mean, just a little city like Scriven, you're talking millions and millions of dollars to replace these water lines. Well, every one of them said, we 100% agree. We would love to have an infrastructure bill. We would love. So the last one, after talking to all 10, number 10, I said, well, I don't understand the problem then, because all your constituents agree, you agree. Why can't we just make it happen? And same thing, I say that for here. We all can get along. I mean, these are great people that are leading this county, and we have to put egos and I got and you got out of the room and get along. One thing I would like to make attention that hinders these processes is the social media. I'll be honest with you. These guys have to, they went on a retreat to Jekyll Island and it got blowed up way further out of proportion. If you would check the history, that's been happening forever. And we ain't had problems forever. These guys have to be able to meet. I understand if they don't want to go to Jekyll Island. We have the airport, and they've committed to doing that now since this was brought. So that is a good thing from social media. But crushing and ripping, they have to meet, or we're never going to get along, because there's a thing called the Sunshine Law, and you can't have but so many in the room unless it's a meeting. So they have to have these meetings. So when they have these meetings, us as citizens, and this is me speaking as a citizen, doesn't need to crucify them, because I promise they're trying to work to get an agreement. And, we've got the animal control was an issue, and I foresee other issues coming. And I just pray and hope that we can work.
Let me ask you about that issue, because that's still. I've talked to Stanley Todd. He was in the studio yesterday. I told that's just mind-boggling to me. They just couldn't get together, and it just seems like a simple solution. But here you are, you're representing the city of Scriven. The county's already decided that once the city pulls out November 11th and doesn't provide animal control outside the city limits of Jessup, they're not going to be any animal control from November 11th to whenever they come up with a plan, which they still don't have the plan in place. So what's going to happen in Odom and Scriven and outside the city limits of Jessup if there is an incident? I mean, the sheriff looks like he's going to try to help out a little bit, but
right. I can speak for Scriven. I can't speak for what they're going to do in Odom, but I can tell you exactly how we immediately when they released that information in that meeting. I left and made a call, and we come up with a plan, and that's what you have to do, immediate plan. Our ordinances in Scriven we have them on the book. They're strong enough to stick. We have a police department, which is a little better situation than Odom is. But Sheriff covers Odom, so he's going to help Odom out. And we can write a ticket for a stray dog, or for, if we know whose dog it is. Not saying that we're not just going to write tickets, but we can make that ordinance stick stronger than what it is, and our officers and Chief Hargrove has committed to that's what we're going to do. Now, if we have a dog bite incident, that becomes a vicious animal. We, as the city, our officers will catch that dog, and the city of Jessup has graciously said they will accept that animal at the pound. And Bob, I'll tell you, I've been in office 2 years. And I haven't had a dog bite incident yet. Now, they did have one prior to me coming in. But you're talking, I would be willing, I don't know the percentage of vicious animal attacks in Scriven. It's like, that's not something that really happens every day.
Even countywide, it doesn't happen very often. But if it does,
it can happen. Yes, sir.
If it does happen, you have to have a policy in place.
Right.
You'll know this better than I do. I was talking to Stanley. I still go back to that event you had in Scriven, where everybody came together and everybody talked about how great it was. Everybody was together, trying to work on the same page. If they haven't had one since, how long ago was that?
That was
several years ago.
Yeah, I've been in office 22 months, so I know it's probably been 18 to 20.
All right. Why do you think they haven't had another one? I mean, everybody at that meeting, I go back to that.
I guess they're waiting on me. And I say that not being smart.
I thought it was supposed to rotate.
Yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying. It's funny because when I decided I wanted to do that, the first thing I was told was it ain't going to work. And I said, yes, it is going to work. These people are committed. I'm young. Those old timers know more than me because it ain't worked. And I'm still committed. It was supposed to rotate. It hasn't rotated. I wish that
somebody would pick it up and go.
Somebody would pick. Let's do it. I feel like I could do it again. No problem. It's not a money issue or nothing like that. I could do it again. But
I think all the food last time was donated.
That's right. And my brother could. Is it right for me to do it again? No, but am I big enough to make that step to do it? Yes, I am. So that's probably what will happen. And, I told him, it's funny, I went back and listened to, my daughter was there at that, and I recorded it. And in that little thank you, I welcomed everyone. I said if it doesn't happen, I'm different than, I'm going to make it vocal that it is not, and it's not happening. And I don't understand that,
It's just kind of perplexing that where we're at right now. It just seems like, as Stanley told yesterday, a lot of animosity on both sides. It's kind of sad to see where it's at. But again, one thing you asked for at the one meeting I went to, the city of Scriven, you asked for a permanent ambulance in the city of Scriven. Where are we stand on that? Is that going to happen, or they're against that, or what?
No.
And tell us why you want that.
Well, okay. First off, why I want that is because it's a long ways to Ed Harrell Road out Hortense to out near Reedy Creek area for an ambulance call. And I'm sure everybody in this county wants that. There'll be nobody against it. Now, I did bring that to the table. our facility was built to house a full-time ambulance in Scriven. We have the extra bay, we have the living quarters, we have showers. We can house that, and these guys know that. They fully came and looked. And when I say these guys, the leaders in charge of this situation, Mr. Richard Johnson and Ed and the county. Now, through negotiations, and this is a positive on you're asking, can we get somewhere with service delivery? Through these negotiations, the county has come up with an alternate plan, which I agree with. I believe will work. Let's give it a try. I'm not for the number was like astronomical to put another ambulance on, and because you have to have these guys staffed at 2 and then 2 more because there has to be 2 on it, and I understand that, and at this time this county isn't financially fit to do that. So I commend them for coming up with an alternate plan of what they're looking at is a fast response vehicle, which would be like a Tahoe or some sort of SUV, and they may even already have that Tahoe in their fleet. I don't know. And that will go to the county on heart attack call, trauma calls, because that was our big concern. Now, Uncle Johnny stubbed his toe. 24 minutes to get there with ambulance, fine. Not an issue. My dad out near Ed Harrell Road, heart attack, 24 minutes, life changing. Right. I mean, it's that simple. And they acknowledge that because that's what they do for a living. I mean, they know those response times are crucial and very important. So I feel like with that emergency response vehicle, that will be a very big asset to this county, to not only to our area, but to the Madry Spring area and the Guard Eye area that's so far out. And that will let us know, is it warranted for these areas? Because if he has not enough calls, I mean, don't get me wrong when I say not enough calls, because every trauma call is a major importance, but it also, you can't put on $150,000 a year ambulance to run one call, and you have taxpayers just going, what are we doing, you know?
Again, if you just joined us, Mayor Jason Weaver, City of Scriven, in with us. I'm curious, we've got City of Jessup elections, City of Odom elections. Why is the City of Scriven a different time than City? It just seems odd.
We're different, Bob, over there. Different breed of people. I don't know.
You said that.
That was before my time now. I can't.
Send your text messages to Jason. I didn't say
that's right. Hey, we're different, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
Is any reason for that? I'm kind of curious. I mean, I guess I could ask Tammy, but it just seems weird that
it is weird.
You think Wayne County, everybody would
weird.
Just,
I would like to do, and I've been discussing with our council. I would like to do how Jessup is, and let's get to
stagger turn.
Right, yeah. And that's probably where we're going, because we just voted to start diving into our charter. I mean, our charter's from the 1960s.
I was glad to see the city. Like I said, that makes common sense. Like I said, you don't want the whole board, going at one time.
And that's what happened with us when we went in and Scriven.
I mean, you just became mayor, like I said, 2 years ago. It's a learning process. You got to
every day, Bob.
You got to go to schools and go off and get training and things like that. So you don't want the whole board just
that's right
going at one time. So let's talk a little football. Big game tonight between Georgia Southern and Appalachian State. You're a big Troy fan. You had a big letdown this past Saturday at Georgia State. So I got your text. You weren't real happy. But
I weren't happy. I was actually very, very upset.
So what about the big game tonight? How do you see that? Does Georgia Southern have a legitimate shot?
I followed this game coming up pretty heavily on Twitter with Georgia Southern and Georgia Southern. App State's rolling this year, and it's a good thing.
Ranked 20th in the
for
nation.
us in the Sun Belt, because it's going to take a team like us that are struggling this year for whatever reason we can't figure out is going to be able to boost up in the bowls, because App State's probably going to get a big bowl out of this, especially if they keep winning.
All right.
But I just reminded my Georgia Southern people that are real nervous about this game. The last time Southern played App State in the rain, they beat them. And I think this plays into Georgia Southern, because App State ain't going to be slinging it around as much, and it's going to be a ground and pound, and that plays right into Georgia Southern.
Another thing, I think the last time App State was ranked, Georgia Southern went in and beat them as well.
Right.
So, and I said, I'm sure that's going to be a fun game to watch tonight. Georgia Southern Troy game, that's
November the 9th.
Where's that game at?
At Troy, homecoming. Yes, sir. The day we beat Georgia Southern will be November the 9th.
Okay. Well, how you like being mayor? I mean, like I say, 2 years into it, you got on this committee. How'd you get? Did Buddy Carter appoint you to that committee?
Buddy Carter wrote a letter and asked that I be placed on, and I was already on. I was already put on by GMA on the state policy committee, and they put me on the federal, and it's just, man, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to see the positivity come back to the city and the growth. We're growing. We're doing things. We're just doing right. That's the slogan we ran on, and we're trying to be committed and we're trying to be involved. And our clerk has just received her certification and training, which is a huge step. You
disappointed me. You went to Washington, but you didn't take one of your hats that says "Make Wayne County Great Again." Why didn't you take that hat that you gave us?
I have that hat. I took that hat to Washington.
You did take it to Washington.
Yes, sir. Here's what's funny. I told the people in the airport yesterday when we were leaving, that's the first booth I seen with the "Make America Great Again" hats was in the airport. They're not out on the street, and they're not.
I got you.
I mean, it's Washington Nationals time up there, Bob. I mean, those people are just.
I talked to some Scriven residents yesterday. They're happy with the things that you brought to Scriven. Like I said, you got another big event coming up. Christmas time's right around the corner.
Yes.
Last year you had that big event. Plans underway for that again?
Christmas in the Park, December the 12th this year.
So you're going to bring the snow again?
Bringing the snow. Actually going to. Our plan is to have 2 snow areas, one for little kids and one for big kids. That last year was a learning process, and we learned a little bit. We learned that the little kids didn't need to be in there with the big kids. Right. So we're going to.
It's a great event. People thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, so it should be fun. What's the date again?
December 12th. It's a Thursday night.
Thursday night
before they get out of school, and it works good because last year we had it scheduled on a Friday night. And they told us the monsoon was coming in, which it did. Right. So we moved it to a Thursday and was nervous as a house cat. Well, it worked. So this year we scheduled it on Thursday, and we got Friday as the safety if the rain comes in. But we're blessed. We do not have second chance booked, so it probably won't rain. That's how it goes in Scriven. We book second chance, it rains.
Again, another big event coming up next week. They were talking about it over at Mossy Pond. They're all excited. Day for Wayne, which is always a big event. The big news, of course, is the governor's going to be on hand for the event. So looking forward to seeing him. And Bill Werkheiser has that event at the farmers market. So if you don't go to the Clanton Ranch, you can see the governor that afternoon. Again, we'll have that interview with Bill Werkheiser on Monday's newscast, but he's got a big event that Monday where the governor's going to come and help him with that. So
he does, Bob, and just so everybody knows, we always talk about on here how our local representation is so important at that state level. Governor Kemp has a relationship on the Hill at Washington very different than other governors. He's very much respected and loved, and they kind of let him run this state. They don't dabble into what he's got going on because they feel that the decisions he make are correct, and he's very respected. Like I say, Buddy Carter's working on a prescription reform bill yesterday, hard as he could, to get prescription drug prices lowered, and that would be a huge win for everybody in this area.
Well, the good thing about our local representation, one, they work well together, but two, they're accessible. Like I said, they'll be at the Eggs and Issues. They always come to the post-legislative forum. I mean, they give out their phone numbers. They give out their email. I mean, they want to hear from people.
That's right.
That have a concern. So that's the great thing about our local representation. I like that. You don't see that in a lot of other communities where they work together and all on the same page. But, it was impressive yesterday. Stephen Meeks, I think there were like 12, 15 members of the House that worked with him up there in Atlanta.
The speaker was there.
The speaker was there, came down, and that's what the speaker, what he did is he brought all the people up there that worked with Stephen in Atlanta and showed the people how much respect he has already up there as a young representative. So it was a great event. So look forward to Day for Wayne. Always good to see you, Mayor. Appreciate you coming in. Glad you made a safe trip to Washington. Was it? The airport's probably crazy, isn't it?
Airport's crazy, Bob, because they had a pretty big baseball game going on up there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Sunday night.
I heard all about it from my family up there. They're still ecstatic. I told Jonathan, I don't know. I think the game got over like 12:15, 12:30. 1 o'clock, he's at Dick's Sporting Goods buying all the gear, the hats, the shirts, everything.
I tell you.
My poor sister's going broke.
What do you got going? Georgia, Florida. Well, I mean, you want to talk football. You run away real fast.
I got my prediction in poem tomorrow, so I'm going to hold off for that on local sports. But
I can tell you all the guys at the on the Capitol think that Georgia's going to win.
Well, I hope they're right. I said, I'm kind of scared to death about this game because Georgia's offense is struggling.
I think that's a setup.
I'm still a big Jake Fromm believer. I think Jake Fromm had a bad game against South Carolina. I don't see him having another bad game the rest of the year. I've got Georgia winning the championship game in the playoffs.
People don't
go from there.
People forget.
You got to believe.
You realize, Jake Fromm won the Rose Bowl in overtime for us. So we don't need to throw the cards in.
I tell Jonathan all the time, the glass is half full, not half empty.
That's right.
Trying to get him to be optimistic, but he's just web of fears, whatever.
Jonathan, have you been to that, Jonathan?
No, I haven't. I don't think about going for the final weekend.
I heard it's scary. I ain't going.
I don't know. At my age, I don't know if I can stand a heart attack or not from that.
I said, we'll look forward today for Wayne next Thursday. Good luck with the service strategy agreement. I said, another meeting, I think November 22nd is the date of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're moving the. You saw it.
When does it have to?
Right
somebody told me February. Somebody told me when does it have to be agreed upon?
By next.
Is it February or October?
I think it's October.
October, okay.
Yes.
So they just still plenty good time.
Yeah, we not really plenty of time. We got plenty of time to submit it, but we have, we're taking 3 items at a time and working on them. And there's a lot of items. So in reality, we don't. I mean, that's why we started so early, because we don't have a lot of time.
Okay, well, you get your gas cards yet? Because I was
no. I told the administrator that I would be in Washington and out of town, and then we come back. It's Halloween today, and I told him I would see him the first of next week. It wasn't,
And explain that the county buys the fuel in bulk, so everybody goes to the same place to get the gas.
That's right.
It's just a savings to taxpayers, savings money.
It is, and the only thing is, like I told him, that we're going to get kicked, maybe in Scriven kickback is having to come to Jessup, but. After looking at the numbers, I need to stress it's still cheaper for us to drive over here to Jessup and get that fuel at the county barn out there than it is for us to pull up to the Friendly Express and get that fuel. So this is a win-win. I'm excited about it. This is a great thing that comes out of service delivery, because had we not been having this conversation in service delivery, I would have never known, and we went off. This will be a good thing for Scriven, and also too, I'll tell you, one thing it'll do is it'll let our guys in Scriven, and they'll do it. They'll do it. Our plan now is on Fridays is when they fuel up for the next week, because you never know what's going to happen through the weekend. They wash their vehicles, all that Friday after lunch. So when they come, they'll be able to come to Jessup and get their fuel. Get them some lunch, because, we only have one restaurant over there. So they have to eat it every day if they want to eat. And get them some lunch, something different, put their checks in the bank, and come back to Scriven. It makes sense. I mean, it's easy.
Sounds good. Okay, again, that's going to do it for today's World Famous Butch and Bob Show. Tomorrow we've got members of the tourism board to come and talk about the banquet tomorrow night at the farmers market. The Big Buck contest took place. The last 10 days, people are out there hunting for the big buck, and the winner gets a $5,000 check.
That's right. I'm excited about that.
It'd be interesting who won that event. So,
well, it wasn't me. You can rest assured.
Well, you're too busy going to Washington. You can't. That wasn't part of the hunting area. The hunting area was the local county.
I can't hunt right now. My best friend, Jason Osteen, won't be back till Monday, and I promised him I wouldn't hunt until he come back.
There you go. Okay, good to see you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
That's the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO, brought to you today by Murphy Builder Supply and Nips Car Wash. Quick update from Fox News Radio right after this.
Murphy's Builder Supply is where